Dog and cat owners in the Western Cape, your pets need to be vaccinated against rabies as soon as possible. That's the plea by the province's Department of Agriculture after 2 cases of rabies were reported. State Veterinarian Dr. Lesley van Helden says vaccinating will help avoid the spread of rabies throughout the province. Dr. van Helden joins us now to unpack this. A very good afternoon to you, Dr. van Helden, and thank you so much for joining us. How bad is the case, if it even is bad, or is this just a precautionary warning to the people of the Western Cape?
So what we've seen is 2 cases of confirmed rabies in dogs in Khayelitsha in Cape Town. And this is a serious and unusual event because we have not had rabies in dogs in the city of Cape Town metro area since the early 90s. At the moment, I would not classify it as an outbreak, but we want to make sure that it stays that way. And that is why we are calling on dog and cat owners to make sure that their pets' vaccinations are up to date.
You're saying that this hasn't happened since the early 90s. Is this inclusive of even stray dogs and cats?
Yes, absolutely.
Now,
sorry.
No, please continue.
I was going to say we are seeing rabies circulating in dogs, free-roaming dogs, not necessarily stray dogs, in other parts of the country. So especially in the coastal areas of KZN and the Eastern Cape at the moment, we are unfortunately seeing quite a few cases of rabies. So, you know, with dogs moving around the country with people, it is possible for these cases to move around. And so we need to be vigilant. And we need to make sure we're doing everything we can to prevent rabies in all parts of the country, and that's including Cape Town.
For a new dog owner, Dr. van Helden, how does one notice that, you know, their pet does have rabies? Is it something that they would, you know, be affected by in terms of their health? How do I then pick up that this is something that I need to go deal with?
Right, absolutely. So I first want to say if you are a new dog owner, the first thing you should do is take your dog to the vet and find out what their vaccination schedule is and make sure then that you keep their vaccinations up to date. The first thing that an owner with a rabid animal will probably notice is a sudden and unexplained change of behavior. It's a disease that affects the brain and the nervous system. So behavior change we also often see salivation and drooling because the muscles start to become paralyzed and they can't swallow. Sometimes you just see weakness. Sometimes the dog just seems a bit off, doesn't want to eat its food. And a dog with rabies will die within about a week to 10 days. Unfortunately, there is no way to treat the disease.
How often should we be vaccinating our dogs?
So a dog that has not been vaccinated before should be vaccinated twice within a few months. The standard schedule for a puppy is at about 3 months of age, and then again within a year, within 12 months of that first vaccination. But you can start vaccination at any age, and then you should ask your veterinarian with what frequency you should continue that, because it does depend on the risk status of the area. So in some areas we recommend vaccination once a year, and in other areas you can do vaccination about once every 3 years.
Of course, we were mentioning in our intro and yourself confirming that there's been 2 cases that have come up. You know, in terms of cats, how are they affected? Are there any cases with cats as well?
Yes, absolutely. Any mammal can get rabies, but there are certain species of animals in which the virus will circulate more easily. So it will tend to circulate in a dog population. However, if a cat is bitten by a rabid dog or another species of animal that is rabid, they can also develop rabies. A lot of rabid cats will show extreme aggression and they'll bite and scratch people in an uncharacteristically vicious way. And that is a way that rabies can then spread across to a person and affect them as well.
And just before I let you go, Dr. van Helden, in terms of access to, you know, places where they can get assistance, dog and cat owners, is there enough access? Are there enough institutions where people can go, in the Western Cape at least?
Access to veterinary services is variable across the country. Anyone who has access to a private vet or an animal welfare clinic, please use them. we as the state do try and reach the people who don't necessarily have access to veterinary services. And we do free rabies vaccinations. We tend to do them in the form of campaigns where we go into specific areas at a specific time and try to vaccinate all the dogs and cats in that area. So we are working in Khayelitsha at the moment. We have worked there in the past, and we are trying to make sure that we are topping up the vaccination percentage in the population at the moment.
All right. Dr. Van Helden, thank you so much for joining us here on Upfront this afternoon. That is, of course, State Veterinarian Dr. Lesley Van Helden.